And Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane joins a Full View now. Good evening to you, Advocate, and welcome. Well, a tweet earlier attributed to you said, as expected, the ConCourt didn't disappoint. This was your tweet. If it wasn't, please confirm to us. And if it was, why do you believe this ruling was already a foregone conclusion?
Good evening, Iman. Actually, I came for the interview with SABC to deal with the recusal of the chairperson, Mr. Janchi, but I will confirm that indeed that was my tweet, and as well seeing the comments by the public, and also confirming what the late Tina Jumaat-Peterson has said, and that the courts are with President Ramaphosa. And it's so concerning as well that the 3 High Court judges of the Western Cape agreed with me that the suspension was unconstitutional, driven by ulterior motive. And remember, the president was couldn't even wait and respect the very same courts to deliver their judgment on the 10th of June 2022.
Would you mind sharing with us what you felt when you heard the judgment? We'll circle back to some of the details that were outlined in the judgment. We'll get to the 194 panel in just a moment as well. But really interested in this moment, the apex court, in a sense, underlining the process now. What were your feelings?
My feelings are that I expected that outcome, especially on how the courts and some of the judges have treated me in the past, and even the very same court, which couldn't even entertain the application we made about them clarifying their judgment about the payments for legal fees, especially because there were now questions after the letter of Galeka of the 1st of March about who paid the costs. So they just said, no, they won't entertain it. I must go back to the High Court so that the matter can be dealt with there, forgetting that this is a constitutional matter, it's a constitutional institution that should be dealt with. But at the end of the day, Iman, I respect their judgment. The history has no blank pages. If that's what they came to feel, that the president was correct in suspending me and not even waiting for the Western Cape High Court Part A application, and as well forgetting that actually they should be driven by the Constitution, by the very same president who's being investigated by the public protector. They are saying my suspension is giving me an opportunity to prepare for the Section 19 committee and give credibility to the office, and forget that the very same public president was facing those allegations of pala and couldn't himself excuse himself and give credibility or integrity to the office. But my issue was they should have just purely focused on the constitutional provisions of what is expected from the president and why he couldn't wait for the court to pronounce on Part A of the judgment.
So what are your next moves in this regard then, Advocate Mkhwebane, as Judge Mandisa Maya laid out that detailed judgment, snuffing out, as we've just alluded to now, the only light you've had on this matter that was provided by the High Court last year? She based it in law. From the public's view, you know, she cited many aspects of law. There were no dissenting opinions. Is this particular part of the matter thoroughly closed, or do you see a way to fight on?
I will still discuss with the legal team on that. I mean, there's still a rescission application, but possibly we will leave it. But what's concerning about this judgment as well, Iman and the listeners, is that, you know, Justice Maya, I don't know why she even had to mention the three panel members of Justice Nkabinde, which was never part of the records before them, which was never dealt with and deliberated on. And the very same Section 194 refused to even limit their scope to that because those the judge and the two advocates were paid to do and deal with the matter. I mean, she just mentioned that and what their findings were. And it's so concerning as well, because it's as if she was even giving facts and preempting the Section 194 outcome. So it's concerning. And I think the way she even interpreted Section 96, it's exactly what the current acting, in fact, the Deputy Public Protector has mentioned, and of which Section 96 is very clear. It speaks about a risk of a conflict. And in this instance, the conflict materialized because there was that investigation on Phala Phala. So where have you seen a person who's being investigated? I mean, a police is investigating you as the commissioner or as the minister, then you go and suspend that particular person who's investigating you. So for me, I think, yes, it's the Apex Court. And the Apex Court, they do also err in whatever they do. I mean, referring to even Judge Nkabinde, who as well was part of the judgment of Nkandla, where they used the same executive members' ethics code, which was utilized in the Nkandla judgment. And the very same court, in fact, the same judge in their report decided that I should be found wanting by referring to the very same code. So you see, unfortunately, when it comes to my cases, and I mean, the Justice Maya even going ahead and saying a lot of courts have found this. I've mentioned, and even during my testimony about the Nkandla judgment, what the evidence was before me, and I decided on, and the minority judgment of Justice Mkhwebane, showing all the gaps and the involvement of the president, and mentioning as well the Reserve Bank matter, which I have not testified, but there is evidence who has crafted those notes and which we availed. There was nothing which we were hiding. So unfortunately, then, if we are having to be judged on the issue of what the judges are saying, they are also fallible, and they are also, unfortunately, with the Apex Court, who are currently, whatever they say ends, and where sometimes they even contradict their earlier judgments. There's nothing else which. But
just in terms of your fate, though, Advocate Mkhwebane. So this is now the finding of the Apex Court, which Judge Maya also dismissed the application to stop the 194 committee from doing its work. It affirmed that they could go on as a legal oversight body. The committee, for its part, and we'll have the committee chair on after this interview, says you've missed deadlines to comply with their revised program to get the impeachment wrapped up before the end of next month. You've been saying your lawyers need time to get up to speed, but they are going to go ahead without you. They intend to complete their work before the end of this month. How do you see this ending?
You see, that's where there's the very same judges and the judiciary, the kind of judgments they are issuing, and the kind of leaders of the ANC and the executive and even members of the legislature, because they abuse the law as they please. The very same chairperson wrote to my attorney Chane and said, the council in the matter knows the matter. The council must assist you to familiarize yourself with the matter. But the very same chair is continuing. The very same chair, I raised the matter on the 9th of June that there is this WhatsApp messages, the late Gina Jumat Peterson, who is the member of the committee, approached my husband and offered a bribe with an implicating Janji and Majodina. So they will just continue as if nothing has happened. Now the police are investigating that. The chair is facing criminal investigation, and even there will be an inquest, and which might even lead to murder investigations. No, they are just continuing to deal with me, irrespective of that. And I don't agree with their with him saying I've missed the deadlines when I don't have the senior counsel who should be defending me, and still engaging the attorney who is even refused to read the record and just be told that he must just proceed.
Okay.
The nice thing is that we've lodged the application for recusal, because I cannot appear before a person who is implicated in this particular manner, and even requested him to tell us when can the recusal application be discussed or be orally presented. So I would want him to just also address that. So unfortunately, Iman, the process must be fine. I'm still under oath. It's still in the middle of my testimony. I haven't dealt with the other issues. Now he's saying I've missed the deadlines. I don't agree with that.
Okay. Advocate Mkhwebane, thank you for talking to us tonight, sharing your perspective on these developments today, both insofar as the Section 194 inquiry and the developments in the Apex Court.